Guys, do you have the link to this class journal? This is like your lecture notes, but it's not really lecture notes in a way that I type down what we discussed, right? What some of you bring up. So it has some of the key learning points. What we did yesterday together was to talk about some of the what things we learned and what difficulty we're facing, and then any favorite tips for classmates. Okay, let's do the same thing this week. I mean today, right? So what is the favorite thing that you learned yesterday? I will just go one person at a time. So one more time is our daily scrum. All right. I'll start with Stan.
I don't remember what it's called, but instead of actually doing the output sign, we shortened it by using the colon. So
okay. Instead of the hash rocket?
Yeah.
So we learned that for a hash, this is an old school hash way where hash syntax is like this. Name hash key is a string. So here it will be a task name, for example, learn hash, and then the status will be this is like done is true. We did that. However, if we use symbol, the favorite thing we learn is that you can use symbol instead of string, so it will look more like this. This thing is called a hash rocket in Ruby. It's a funny name. You can just call it an arrow. However, this format is not commonly used anymore. What you are going to use is what is a lot more friendly to read and type as well. Okay, so this is the old Ruby way. This is like Ruby before version 1.9. What the new Ruby, a modern way, right, is this, and this is since 1.9 and above, and we currently are at 2.1, 2.4.1. So this is 10 years ago, and this is now. Okay. So actually, I wrote a lot of code with this stuff. So I feel really young right now. So there's a symbol. Thank you. Anything that we learned yesterday, Louis? What's a favorite thing? Just only need one thing. Yes? Can you speak louder, please?
Before I knew how to use the hash with the arrow.
Okay.
Not with the dot.
Right. Yeah, so you just say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Here, same thing. Well, obviously, because yesterday, the key thing we learned was hash. The key concept was hash, right? For example, today, the key thing we learned is class. So, but I'm going to give another example how to use. So here, what's this? One thing we learned yesterday was that symbols in a hash. Louis says the same things. I'm going to say something like maybe accessing a key with symbol, right, in a hash. What do I mean by that? It means if you have an item that is like this learn hash thing, whoops, right? You have this item, and sorry for the typo there. From now on, if you do item colon name, this will return you learn hash. Right? If you use the old school way, what will give you? In Ruby, this will just be non-existent, so that's why it's nil. Okay? In Ruby on Rails, it's in Rails they sort of allow you to do both. because of an extra enhancement, but may or may not be a good thing. Okay, anything else that we learned yesterday? And note that, of course, you can mark another thing like priority 1. And now your item, right? Now your item, when you print it out, it will look like this. I copied the wrong one, didn't I? This one. And this will be priority 1, okay? You just added one more key to the hash. Give me a thumbs up if this make a lot of sense. All right, so that we learned hash. What else did we learn yesterday, really? So we have symbols in hash. Why is it all A? What else? Whatever, A looks fine. Sine, could you give me something that you learned yesterday?
I'm not quite sure how to define it, but I like to put it to tree of information, or keys and values.
Okay, so again, everyone really love hash. So keys and values in hash. Thank you. So the idea is that, remember our item here is a hash. And also, and I'm going to ask you guys next, yeah? So you have to listen at the same time, think about what you're going to share. If you do dot keys, then what do we get here? You have name and done. It's a bit tricky because of the representation here. You guys see that if I use this representation, then when I do dot keys, it makes more sense. It seems more straightforward. So just understand the rule is that, well, I use this representation now, key colon value. But when I use it, the key by itself, the symbol has to be called this way. Okay? And then what is item dot values? Sine? Learn hash and true. So it's an array of 2 values. Okay? And how do you print out how do you look into the content? Item dot each do key value. And in here, it's a block inside here, right? The code here, you can actually just check. For example, my key is and my value is, all right? Right? Of course, you can even print it to look just like the hash representation, right? It's almost like that, but okay, you can print out what looks like a hash. But okay, if I print this, then what do you get out? You will get key, output will be key, space, name, value, learn, hash. So your output will be 2 lines because you see the comma here. We have 2 items in the hash, 1 and 2, right? Just like an array, you have a few elements in an array. This hash, you have 2 elements. The second one, the key is done and the value is true. Great. Okay, what else do we learn now? Your turn now, Quy. You find something in the exercise. Oh, you can sort in a hash? Okay, let me take a look at the lab yesterday, right? It was Tuesday, right? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay. So I'm gonna take a look at which part are you referring to? Okay. Sorted tasks. So you're talking about sorting multiple hash, right? Uh, this is an item. Okay. The new way is now named learn hash priority 1. Okay. So this is a new way, and this is the old way. You can use whatever is suitable for you. Over time, when you become more experienced, you only use this. Now, what Gui is saying is, when I start to have, I'm going to move this to my previous document. What Gui is saying, what if I have, so sorting an array of hash items. All right. So here is my to-do list, square bracket. This is an array, right? I can have more than one items in there. And this is my first item. I have the second item, which is, learn symbol. Priority is 2. So the assignment asks us to do to-do.sort, right? You're sorting an array. In the past, if you have 1, 5, 2, 3, and you call sort on an array, automatically you get this really nice sorted array back without telling Ruby what it is, right? Just sort it for me. If you have a string that say 1, 2, 3, when you sort it, what happens? What comes first? 1, 3, 2, because this is alphabetical, right? You look at the first character, sort them, and then if they're the same, which is the T and the T here, then you look at the second characters, and H comes before W. However, if you look at to-do.sort, it will not understand. I'm going to show you how to do that right now with this code here. By the way, one trick, right? Is that if you want to only run this much code, select it and then click run. It doesn't run the whole file. So it's kind of cool. So I say I have this, and I say put my to-do is. All right. So let's run this. This is my to-dos. I want to sort by priority. So let's say priority of learn hash is now 5, and let's have the third one here is learn sort. Priority is 1. So I want learn sort to come first. Okay. So I run this, and I'm missing a colon here, a comma here. I'm seeing that this is not the order I want. In fact, I'm just going to use the puts to do here. When you put an array, it does that for you. It's kind of nice, right? 1, 2, 3. So I want this learn sort to come first. And if I do, hey, sort it for me and print it out, comparison of hash failed, right? Hash with hash, I do not know how to compare them. Okay? So that's when you kind of look it up and you say, hey Ruby, how do I compare hash, what's that? Sort, array and sort. You're actually sorting in an array, you're not sorting a hash, okay? And then I'm going to look at the sort method. You see that there's an example sort. Where is it? Click on it, it's still not showing me what I want. Here. Right, you see, if I have ABCD, I can sort this way. But then if I can decide a different way to sort. In this case, it says if you compare X with Y, you can check less than, equal, or greater than. But this symbol basically return -1 or 1 or 0, depending on which one is greater. So in this case, I say compare Y with X, and that's why you display the largest one first. So I'm going to use the same syntax. First element, second element, and some sort of comparison. So I'm going to do that to do. By the way, maybe a nice way is to create a new variable. I call it a sorted to do. Okay, it's a new variable. If you sorted to do equals to do, then they are the same array of hashes. But now I'm going to sort this and save it to a new list or new array. So X and Y. Sometimes you like to call things as X and Y. For example, here I just say, first item and second item, up to you, okay? So item A, item B, maybe that's too much to type. So I just call it X and Y. So in this case, I say, what do I compare between X and Y? Thank you. Priority. You're comparing priority with one another. This is what you did, right? Oh, okay, so you can use sort by. But in this case, does it make sense? It start to make sense a little bit? Yeah. So you just understand that normally, if you type sort the old school way, like this sort, it's the same as typing it the long way, which is x, y, and then x less than equal y. But this is so obvious. Why do you have to type it, right? But if you want 5 to come first, 3 to come second, 2 to come third, then you change y to x. So you sort of having an idea that you're taking an integer and then there's something that's magic, it's like compare. It reads just like English, isn't it crazy? So I am not doing that. I keep this. This is my note, so this is the same as, right? Now, same thing here, same as. However, for to do, we need something smarter. We need to tell sort what to compare, not to compare hash with hash. Please compare priority with priority. That's why I say priority with priority. It means you're comparing when you go into the sort, you take a look at the first element here, it's the second element here, you compare 5 with 2. And then you look at the first and the third, and compare 5 with 1. And then look at the second and the third, compare 2 with 1. And it just swap, make changes, right, accordingly. It will not change your to-do array. It will change, give you a new array, so you can save it as sorted to-do. And now you can print, this is my to-do, and this is my sorted to-do. Puts to-do, okay? Let's try run it. Do you guys see priorities all good now? And sometimes you kind of like, making a little separation to make the code easier to see. Add a new line there. And it looks like that. So we're good reviewing how to sort. Thank you. This is great. I'm so lazy. I don't need to prepare. I just ask you to tell me what to teach. Next, sorted items. Anything else? Ian, would you like to tell us any favorite thing you learned yesterday? Oh, converting, sure. Converting to symbol with .toSim. Okay? So the idea here is that normally you are using, let's say, this is your string. This is your symbol. And then if you do toSim, this will return a symbol. Okay. Okay, that's hot. Wait, what did I just do? Name? Okay. Oh! Okay, just stop. Quip is like, it's amazing, but that really, it's not fun. Go down here and then, okay. Just get around that. I have no time for your playfulness. When do we need to do this? Obviously, I'm asking, but of course I'm just, I'm just buying time for me to think when we need to use it. It's like this. Yes?
Sometimes when you like call JSON and give you a string, you give a symbol.
JSON, new string, and
I remember when I made the Facebook bot, it gave us back a string.
yeah.
We responded.
Right.
API gave me a string and I needed a symbol.
Right. So that's what Lois just explained, is that sometimes you have a a hash. A JSON is what the data structure, another data structure, gives you something, the key, it looks like a hash. It has key and values. The key is already in string. And you like to work with symbols, so you want to convert all of them. Okay? Here's something else. So let's say this is you, okay? This is your Ruby program. In your Ruby program, you have this to-do list, okay? Maybe you have this item. Name is, oh no, I'm just going to stop using item. I'm just going to use person. Name is, Mark Cuban. And priority is, oh no, not priority, age. Actually, let's just not use a billionaire. Let's use a fake billionaire. All right. So let's say he's 71 years old. And then you ask the user, okay? You ask the user, what do you want to know about this person? Okay? And then you say, key is gets.chomp. So you're asking the user to enter what the user wants to know, right? So in this case, you say, I can only tell you key, name or age. Okay, so this user will type name or age. Okay, and now I have this key. Okay, so then I say, he is, that is. Now you're gonna get this value out. And what is the value? Person, key, right? So this is the value, except this doesn't work. Why do you think it doesn't work? Let me try, huh? Let's run this. Where is it? Except it doesn't work. Look, I am copying this into my program, and down here I will select this whole thing, right? By the way, it's using the output tab down here with run code, so when you run get chomp, it will crash this thing. Just hang, like look, I am trying to run this, and then you run and then you see nothing's going on because somewhere in the background it's trying to wait for your input. So if you run into this problem, you have to type stop code run here. So I stop that. Okay, you see how that was stuck just now, and then I discover that I need to tell the code runner to do something else, to run in my terminal instead of just running in the output. This is the reason why it's all in the video, because obviously I don't expect you guys to understand this immediately. So I save it, and now I run this program. Look at this, right? If I run what I just select, okay, and run it, now it's run. Oh, God, it's not saved yet. Sorry. Stop. Okay. I go to the terminal. Let's check the setting again. Run in terminal. Okay, run in terminal is true. Check the workspace setting. This is your editor setting for your user, which is every time you open the VS Code. And down here is the for the terminal. For the terminal, for example, preserve focus means false, means after I run it, I'll switch the focus to this terminal instead. Don't worry, that one you don't have to understand yet. So this, I'm trying again. I hope this will now run it. No! Stop. Okay, let's just create a new file. Let's create a new file and name it our experiment file. Okay, this is like this is our daily scrum.rb, and I have to choose the. You see how inconvenient it is to use the. I have to move it to my day 3 now. Daily scrum, move to day 3. All right, we're all there. It's good. It's good. And now I try to run this again. Hey, it's running in the terminal. It's a bug with the code runner program. I don't mind. It's already quite useful. What do you want to know about this person? well, I want to know about his name. Yeah? And I press enter, what will come up? Are you sure? It will just be nothing. It is nothing. Why? Because it's trying to run this, guys. Because the user can only give you back a string. So it's similar to what Lloyd said. I get something from outside. So what Lloyd just said is like you build a chatbot and you get it from the browser gives you a string. Right? The server, you are the server. You're writing code to process stuff. The user, in this case, is a terminal, a command line app, and the user say, I want name, but you don't have name. So your program will work if you build it the old way. Name, Donald Trump. Let's try it, yeah? I run the program one more time, and this time I say name, and that is Donald Trump. So the question now is, how do you make it work with the sexy, cooler way of using hash? To what? To string? Yeah, so what to what? String? Okay, so it's like this?
2S.
Oh, 2S. So what is the type of value when the user enter? We just talked about it just now. When the user enter the word name, value will add, the key will be name. So when you see your key is a string, why do you convert a string to a string? What should we convert instead?
Symbol.
What you want here is name or age. Exactly. You change it to symbol. Okay? So for example, what do you want to know about, this person, right? And down here, if I choose name, I'll convert it to a colon name, and then I get it from person, right? Let's try. What do you want to know about him? Name? That's Donald Trump. What do you want to know about him? Age? That's 71. So you can do the same thing for position and stuff, right? Position. All right. So have fun with different ways to use your hash. But you see, sometimes too sim is because only you can decide to use a symbol. The user input is just all string. If the user enter an age, it's actually 71. It's not 71. And then what happens then? You to sim. Oh no, sorry, not age. Age, it will go to this, right? But let's say if you say what is the person's age? For example, what's your age? And then you say age is get instead of put. Chop means removing the enter character at the end of the string. And then age here is a string, not a number or anything. Anything user enter is a string. So if you really want to take this age, and then you take the 2017 minus that, and then then you can just say birth year. Right? Birth year. Now you can say back, he was born, in birth year. Is that clear? You have to convert it to the type that you can work with. If the user give you a string, you convert it to a number, so you can say, he was born in this year. It's all math. Okay? All right. So, Oscar.
Okay, so the reason was that
Yeah.
if I left it all as a string, then I wouldn't be able to perform arithmetic.
Correct.
Okay.
So if look at this, right? It's just all experiment things, right? So what's your age and this? I'm gonna run this code.
Yeah, if you leave 2017 as
Okay.
well, or
And then you will, oh my god. So I think it can only run the whole file with, I see, stop code run. Run in the terminal. So I'll just run the whole thing in the terminal. It can only run the whole file in the terminal, I see. Okay, this is good. What do you know about this person? Name? What's your age? Okay, look at this line, line 13, right? I'm like, my age is 32, and I expect you to give me the birth year, which is 1985. However, it says string cannot be coerced into an integer. Coerced here means forced into an integer, and it just doesn't want to do it for you. It's strict. So I have to say, hey, convert it. And then what's your age? What's your age? In this case, I say 32 again. You're born in 1985. Let's try it one more time. But at this time, I say my age is like, I don't know. What do you think it will say?
I'll change that.
It will say, I don't know too. I'm just guessing. It converts a string to a number, but because there's no number in there, it thinks the number is 0. Your age is 0, so you were born yesterday. Okay, so these are some key concepts we learned, and actually some of you talk about some difficult items as well. So don't worry, initially we don't have too many things to say. So I'm gonna just ask it anyway. What's difficult for you right now? You can say anything like, Visual Studio Code is a beast and I hate it. My computer is too slow for my taste. Something is, or like, why do I have to sleep 8 hours a day when I could use that to code instead? So what's difficult for you right now? Ian? Something difficult. It can be anything. The food? What's difficult? It can be my voice. It's okay. It hurts. Huh? Symbol, yeah, okay. You can say, hey, it's difficult because symbol is weird. All right. We're here to not tell you that it's not difficult. It is difficult. At least we all can just have a little understanding. What's difficult right now? Everything's too easy. Oh, what is difficult right now? Git. Oh man, Git is new and funny, right? Or not funny, scary. Yeah, scary. And VS Code is beautiful and scary. I hope, yeah. Sine, what's difficult for you right now?
I think just processing everything.
Yeah, processing so much information is like a fire hose. Obviously, this happens to all of us when we start learning something. We have to accept that, man, I don't get it now. I go home, I think about it, or like, hey, tomorrow I may get lucky and things come in more, easily. What's difficult for you now, Lewis?
Kind of the same, because a lot of people forgot in I've been trying another language, so sometimes I don't know, I write kind of Java in that way, so it's
Yes. So I can, if I may paraphrase your difficulty, is like having to unlearn some old habits, knowledge.
yeah,
For example, if you're using Atom and then you switch to VS Code and you're like, wait, what? This is how I open the file in Atom and VS Code is not doing the same thing. Or like command 1, command 2, wait, what? I go to Chrome and that switch between first tab, second tab, third tab. And here's like command 2 just does something weird. Command 3 is even weirder. So unlearning old habits is extremely important. If I may share with you, when I taught the iOS class, right, I have some Android experts. You may think that, oh, they're great at mobile development, they write Android apps. They're not my best iOS students. Because the problem is when they program for the iPhone, they just have all these habits in Android. They like to do things the Android way. So the people who are best, actually the people who just unlearn, or like, let's not, get stuck with the old way of doing things. If, I'm using English and I keep writing it like the way I use Vietnamese, then it's obviously not getting me very far. Great. What else, Oscar, what's difficult for you right now?
Catching up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's very normal too. Or catching up with the past 2 days because we're sort of
Well, keeping up to date with what we're doing now, and
Yeah.
at the same time catching up, right?
Right. So keeping up. So not to scare you, each day is supposed to go like it's been a week. So it's like you're trying to catch up with 2 weeks of work, and well, that's we're trying to go fast, but our resources are here, and send questions on Slack, or we can stay behind after 5 p.m. to go talk through stuff. Cut short your lunch break, go eat for 1 minute, and then use the remaining 59 minutes to learn. STEM.
It's just learning a new language.
Yeah, learning a new language. Okay. You see, we have a lot of materials that's built up based on your output because we believe that whatever we plan beforehand may not be suitable until we adjust that. For example, the class journal thing, I encourage you to keep your own journal. Some of the stuff here may be similar to what you put in your journal. I encourage you to use Quip like the way I use it. For example, I use Visual Studio Code. You use it, and we try to make the best out of the tool. Quip, as you can see, the most beautiful thing is this code formatting. It's like you understand that's Ruby. If you try different language, it understands everything, and this is how the formatting and everything is really clean, right? Now, this document is shared on Slack, so revisit it for your personal review, and you can always ask about that. Hey, yesterday you talked about accessing keys with symbols, and I know you taught it, but like seriously, it still doesn't make sense. Then we can talk about it again tomorrow. So this is our day 3. Scroll back to day 2 and all of that. You don't really need, a book or just like a lot of stuff ahead of time. I want us to learn more by looking back, because a lot of it is like catching up with like the fire hose of information here. So if you ask like, hey, what are you teaching next week? Can I just start reading all of that? And I'm like, first, I'm not confident to tell you that this is exactly what we're teaching next week, because it's based on your speed. Second, I believe you learn more by looking back at what you have learned and come up with a few ways to apply and to ask questions about them. So I focus more on reverse lecture notes, more like recap here. The lab exercises go and solve them, right? And the videos are always there to, obviously, who has the damn time to watch a video? Like, I'd rather watch Netflix. But this one is, unlike Netflix, you can actually skip. You can go to any part, you just, and check on it, right? Netflix, you cannot just skip to an episode and say, yeah, I'm going to watch it. And obviously, you don't feel very good. You're going to need to watch the whole thing. Okay, so what's the third question in our daily scrum? Do you have any good tips that may help others? Stay positive. Don't give up on Harley. What else? Do you have any tips? Anything you want to share with the class? VS Code is cool. I know that. Anything else? No? I know Ian has a tip for us. Sit next to Queen. She's very helpful. Right? That's a great tip. Or like sit next to Lloyd or Tan, same thing, because they are experienced folks. Sit away from Harley, because he's gonna be like, where you at? Where you at? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Wait, I did not teach you that. All right, guys. With that, let's take a break for lunch. Just get back here in normally 1 hour. But if you happen to be here by 1:15, we can start at 1:15. If not, I'll respect your time. It's 1:25. Okay? Right?